Hey everybody, welcome back. So before I begin, I wanted to let you know about my makeup, and the reason I'm going to tell you about that is I get so many questions in the comments and on my Facebook page about what makeup I'm wearing and if I will do a tutorial. I'm probably not the best person to do a tutorial, and I will tell you why. I'm in school for aesthetics, and skincare is my thing. That's my absolute love. I am studying skincare, skin diseases, all that fun stuff, and I want to learn to treat skin, do basically all of the crazy treatments such as vampire facials and dermal fillers and all that fun stuff. But part of my aesthetics training is 60 hours of makeup, and I had just scraped by. I could do makeup by myself, but when it comes to on anybody else or tutorials on how to do it, probably not the best person to ask. I will tell you what I have on my lips. I have NYX Lingerie. I just got it in the mail today. It's upside down. Try that again. NYX Lingerie, and it's a lot lighter than I initially anticipated, but that's probably because I used a dark purple lip liner as an undertone for it. So I'll try it without and let you know. It could be lighter. And now as far as my eye makeup is concerned, I have the aforementioned dark purple lip liner, and this is exactly why you shouldn't ask me about makeup, because I'm known to put lip products in my eyes, and I've been known to put eyeshadow on my lips. Some may say innovative, some may call me an asshole. Depends on who you ask. That being said, I'll let you know all of the products in the description, and try to stop moving my hands so much because I'm feeling a little bit hyper at the moment. Although it's been a few hours since I've had coffee. Who knows? So I find it really interesting how one simple thought can take you down a trail of about a million entirely different thoughts, but also related. So I was thinking about my 40 years of Gothic style sort of review, which was meant to be my 90s Gothic fashion brands video. I did a video on my favorite brands of the 90s, what was very popular at the time, what we were seeing around. A lot of them now defunct, but I also tacked on the 40 years of Gothic style review because as I was doing the research and gathering up all the photographs that I needed to make that video, 40 years of Gothic style came out, so I kind of just conjoined the two. And it was during that video that I kind of had an epiphany, I want to say. It was, I guess, less of an epiphany and more so me remembering something that has long since been buried, and that is the Standard Goth. Everyone nowadays is so concerned with putting things into a box. Everything must be categorized, including goths. You have to understand, goth is a subculture. It's basically a blanket term. It is a category all by its itty-bitty lonesome, and it doesn't need to be broken down. It's so hard to keep track. You have Lolita, Nu-Goth, Pastel Goth, Trad Goth, Romantic Goth, fucking Banana Bread Goth. I'm hungry. There's this mindset that your whole identity is tied to the style you choose, and you have to choose. If you happen to own a bell sleeve lace gown and a few chokers, that's it. You're a romantic goth. That is your identity. You may choose no other style. Now, this concept is so alien to me, and it's also a very dangerous way of thinking. You're breaking something down that's already been broken down for you. Goth is a subculture. It is a category into itself. When you're purposely shunting things in all these different boxes, what you're doing is you're causing an unnecessary divide. Let's take it back a little bit further than we usually go, a little bit of an 80s anecdote. Now, when I was about 3 or 4 years old, the year was about 1984, I was taken to what would be deemed a Gothic club. Funny little rule back in the day, if you had your parent with you, you could pretty much be an infant and you can go to a club. Fucked up, huh? The club was called Speaks, and upon arrival, I don't really remember a lot of the club because I think we spent the majority of the night in this one small room, which probably could fit about 40 people. And the room itself was carpeted from ceiling, floor, walls. The whole thing was carpeted, and the whole perimeter of the room was was like a bench that was built into the wall, and everybody was sat around the perimeter of the room on these benches. And as we're sat there, I'm just sort of looking and I'm taking everybody in. And I remember comparing people to what I'd seen on MTV at the time. And one of the really popular videos was A Flock of Seagulls, I Ran, and that's what I remember comparing it to. Because I remember seeing these huge, elaborate hairstyles. I remember seeing men in makeup, which I didn't really get to see very much of in person. I remember seeing day glow makeup. I remember seeing a lot of people wearing all black, a lot of people wearing bright colors. Some people a combination of the two, but the clothing itself was just so elaborately done. It was definitely a lot for me to take in. I also remember that pretty much everybody in this room was smoking. I guess this is before secondhand smoke was an actual thing, so way to look out for my young lungs, Mom. So I also remember quite vividly why we left. As we're sat in that room, this man with a 2-foot-high double mohawk, blonde and green, I believe, turns to my cousin and just throws up all over her. A lot. I should also note that my long-term memory kicks the crap out of my short-term memory. If you ever want to know about what happened in my life yesterday, ask me in about 10 years. The thing about goths in the 80s, they really didn't know what the hell they were. But none of that mattered. There were a new subculture rising out of the punk scene, and whether they liked punk or not, there was Gary Newman, there was New Order, there was Bauhaus. So they were all collectively doing their own thing, but also kind of finding their own individuality at the same time. They just wanted to listen to the music they liked, they wanted to dress up, they wanted to go out and have fun, and there were no rules, there was no exclusion, and there were no guidelines to follow. And just for the sake of fun, please enjoy this video interlude of just that. So back to the whole Standard Goth. This whole thing came about when I was watching the 40 Years of Gothic Style video, and it has a lot to do with the very many categories of goth style. Now the Standard Goth, they didn't fit into any category other than goth. They weren't trad or Batcave, but they were very unmistakably goth. Your Standard Goth looked a little something like this. Now, that doesn't mean that there wasn't a wide array of different styles of clothing that we didn't classify as a specific style. It just didn't define us. It was simply just a part of your wardrobe. I'll give you an example. Most of the time, I was your standard goth. However, if you went through my closet, I had many things in my wardrobe that you would deem Batcave, that you would deem death rock, that you would deem trad romantic. I mean, some nights you may pull a long bell sleeve gown out of your closet, an underbust corset, and put your hair in ringlets. Or maybe you just want to put on a black ripped-up mini dress, a bondage belt, and tease the shit out of your hair. Now, does that mean that you're romantic or that you're a trad goth? No, absolutely not. It just means that you're exploring the very many styles that are within your subculture. So there's nothing wrong with using descriptive terms to describe a pair of boots or a dress. Oh wow, that dress is so flowy, it's very romantic. Or oh wow, those boots are totally death rock. However, that's probably where you should end it. Fast becoming the booby show, I apologize. Keep these somewhat contained. If you're a goth, you're a goth. There's no need to bust it up into a million fragments and add additional labels. I mean, look back at the originals back in the 80s. They were a subculture that was still forming and they didn't even have a name yet. They didn't even have one label, the label of goth, and look at the blast that they were having. Should probably take a leaf out of their book. Seriously. Seriously? Thanks for watching. Never wearing this dress again. Bye.